Hello there, my name's Glitch, and this video is going to be a Balanced Druid 1115 5 mask solo run through with commentary of Horrific Visions Revisited. This was done in the first week that the Horrific Visions were available. I do have all the available upgrades from the tree, so that includes, like the sanity reduction and the sanity increase, as well as all the tributes. I have all the tributes maxed out. This was quite the undertaking. It's quite difficult the first week. I feel like, particularly for Balance Druid, there were a couple of challenges I had to overcome. Balance Druid feels pretty squishy, so I had to make some choices along the way to help that. I talk about those as the run goes. There's a couple of weird tactics that I do here and there that I also bring up and that you'll very clearly see. But other than that, I think let's just get right into it and talk about what's going on. So, a couple of things right off the bat might be useful here. That we go out to the left to provide information on the potions. Very helpful while you're in the run. So right away here, we start off with a pretty substantial stealth skip. I don't kill almost any of this trash. I pass by the potion right at the start just to figure out what potion is bad. So in case you're not aware, and the potion that's right next to the note right at the start there, that is the bad potion. You should not be drinking that one. And so once you've done that, if you have the weak aura that I'm using, which I can provide a link in the description, you can click on the weak aura. So in this case, it was blue. So I clicked blue, which marks it as poison. Lets me know that purple is a sanity one and what the other ones do. Very helpful. If you're anything like me, no matter how many times you repeat it to yourself, you're never going to remember this. So just get a weak aura. It's a little bit easier. It's a little bit less cognitive load on yourself. Do yourself a favor, get a weak aura. Anyways, so we'll keep going. So always check for this guy. This is a pretty good buff. You can get this guy on the way out from the first area. I believe it's 7% verse when you kill him. So here, just pulling some mobs. Name of the game for Horrific Visions in general, but in particular for this first week. You need to make up as much time as you can with killing as big groups as you're able to. So I'm pulling big here. I'm popping cooldowns. I'm using trees. Trees are so important for a Balanced Druid for this Horrific Visions, particularly the trees that still tank, that still taunt, and have more threat from Keeper of the Grove. So yeah, dispatch that entire pack as quickly as possible. Going over to Dwarven District, opening the door. The reason that I do this little hop here and ignore the gnomes initially is just to get the door open. They're not immediately aggroable. I feel like this is a little bit more of a time save. Just little increments of time that end up adding to the time you need to do this first week, I believe. So, open the door here, pull these guys, pull the gnomes, get some dots on them. I'm out of LOS here from the guys I just pulled because of the piercing shots. You can see them charging up there. Don't want to get hit by those if you can help it. They really hurt. So dispatch all this trash here, and then head over to the first bomb. So here comes. This is one of the potion spots you can check. I grabbed this black defensive potion. So you can see there on the left, the weak aura also tells you how much time you have. You need to keep an eye on this. The weak aura also makes a noise when the time is low. So these potions can be very helpful. In particular, the healing one I feel like is needed for Balanced Druid. You have a fair amount of self-heal, but nowhere near what I feel like you need in here. So you need to get creative, and I had to get creative to do this. You'll see some of it going on as we go. But this is obviously just a 5% defensive. Again, just useful. You take a lot of damage, particularly the mobs just punch you for a lot. In fact, you'll see me almost die a couple of times in this run. And boy, have I died a lot to just getting punched in the mouth in here. It happens. But yeah, I grabbed this potion, hoping I'll see another one. Lo and behold, right around the corner, boom, another black liquid potion. Perfect. So once you get 2 of these, you'll notice as I'm picking this up, the duration goes from 5 minutes to 20 minutes. So it quadruples your time, so you don't really have to worry about. Once you've grabbed that second potion, you really don't have to worry about these expiring in your run unless you get it really early. I mean, at least for this moment in time of first week, right? Very useful. Still worth grabbing some of them. I don't grab the fire breath one anymore. I feel like I've pulled on accident way too much with it, and it kind of just ruins things. It's okay damage, but I don't know. I started avoiding it. Also, in case you didn't notice, if you're a stealth class, you can grab these out of stealth. That goes for a couple of things of this nature. Unfortunately, not for many objectives, but that's well to my knowledge. I'd feel very silly if that were the case. But anyways, moving on. So you skip that pack in the corner. It really isn't a big deal. It's just for efficiency's sake. But here comes another big gather in Old Town. This gather is super dangerous. The pack that's currently on my left, you need to kill them anyways. I'm not actually skipping these. The pack with the stealth sight mob. Usually that stealth sight mob isn't there, but if you have the new Mask of Multitudes, he will be there, and he has stealth sight. It's not about skipping him. I just want to be on his other side when I pull him. I don't want to get punched in the mouth when I walk by, because this is going to get very tight. You really need as much health as possible. It's going to hurt. It's going to hurt quite a bit. And in particular, my positioning is not perfect. So here it comes. You're pulling everything. Really try and get that bike back there. That idiot is hard to pull and will snap you out of a bomb placement, which is really obnoxious. So doing the big gather here, trying to get as much as possible. Popping cooldowns, popping trees, blasting. You need to blast. Try and focus down. I'm doing a bad job of it here, but try and focus down the elite mob as much as possible. Ideally, you hit him with all your direct star fires and all your direct star surges, because everything else is kind of going to die to your AoE. So everything gets kind of mulched. It's a combination of starfalls, your cooldowns, treants, and dream bursts from Keeper of the Grove. Now, important to note, defensively, I used a couple of things there that might not be standard. So if you see right under the sanity bar, I have 2 trinket trackers there. One of them's the barrel trinket from Cinderbrew. That's just damage. You'll hear a sound go off a lot during this run, and you'll see me moonfire them and just get damage. It's just one of my higher level trinkets. It's by no means, you don't need it for this. It's by no means the best. If you have like really strong raid trinkets, particularly mythic, they're probably better than that. But that one is a mythic version of that. I feel like it's pretty strong, and I was using it. The other one, if you're a DPSer, you might not even recognize this. So that is Burn of the Candle King. So that trinket is essentially a healer trinket that I just happen to have. But it has int on it. It happened to roll leech on it. I've struggled surviving outright in these visions, so I opted to use it. But the big thing about it is that it puts a shield on you. So think Ignore Pain from Warriors, where it puts a shield and it takes a percentage of the damage that you take and takes it from that shield. I felt like I needed something defensively, so I tried that. Obviously, it seemed to work out. You could argue maybe I overdid it. Maybe another DPS trinket, particularly a powerful one, might have been better, possibly. But I don't have such a thing. So this is what I ended up using, and it worked out pretty okay. I use it several times in the run. In particular, in Trade District, there's a nasty moment where I swear it saves my life. But like I said, I'll get into gear specifics near the end, unless we're appropriate, and it seemed appropriate. So did that gather, used the burn there, survived. Just blast him, typical Keeper of the Grove Moonkin rotation. Make sure you use your Dream Bursts, or whatever that's called from Keeper of the Grove whenever you hit Eclipses. Very strong. Get lucky here with a purple Sanity Pot. I feel like you need good moments of those Sanity Potions to even do this first week. Probably not a thing next week onwards, but for now it is. 2% healing, fantastic. The healing here is going to come in so clutch, because I feel like there's moments where you're just getting clobbered, and that little bit of extra healing can let you make better decisions and save your life. So finishing off Dwarven District here, just taking care of that pack. A big thing for these visions now, and probably when you're doing 8 masks, is just making good use of your time. So I know this pack is going to fight my treants. I know it's going to mostly be dead of its own accord. So I'm trying to do bombs during it, right? Overlap your objectives. So about to do the boss here. This is just slightly optimal positioning back here to kite him back to. I don't want to be like super far away from the door. Again, just optimal movement as much as possible. I'm not saying I'm perfect at it, but I feel like it really helped here. Right? So just blasting boss, trying to not get stunned by my copy there. Standing on damage just to get damage out. Boom, he's dead. We're moving on. I will make one note real quick. If you, like me, have the barrel trinket from Cinderbrew, which is what, Brewterializer or something along those lines, and you get barrels like that, break them before you leave. They keep you in combat sometimes. I'm not quite sure if it's just something else that's maybe overlapping with that that's giving me that impression. But I just pop them just so that I don't get stuck in combat, in particular in between areas. Being stuck in combat, I travel form a lot. You're going to notice it a lot in this run. And you need to be going. Travel form gets slow in combat. You need to be moving quickly. You know, you need to use your Druid mobility in here because, again, optimal time saves is what gets you this run, I think. Anyways, so going back into the Canals District, just taking a shortcut here. These pustules don't do too much damage, just go over them, but make sure you don't get ticked out of stealth. You can completely ignore those rats, and I've skipped the eyeball at the end of that bridge there by going in that route. Now, I'm going into the far entrance for Old Town. This is going to get spicy, okay? So, I'm going to pause it right here, just talk about it real quick. So, we're going to go into Old Town, and 2 skips are going to happen here. One is right at the start. I'm going to sail over the 2 stealth assassins in front of me. I don't know if this is a Druid only skip, but I feel like it probably is. But, you know, other classes can probably get past them with, you know, just feign death or meld or whatever. This is the reason that I enter over here. If you use the other entrance in between, you know, coming from Dwarven District into Old Town, there are 2 assassins there, but there's also a pack just standing there in front with 2 of the big guys. Again, because of multitudes. Usually that pack's not there, but Mask of Multitudes, it is there now. It is what it is. I don't want to do it, and we're not going to do them at all. And that is because of the next skip, where if you remember the old visions and you remember Demon Hunters going to the rooftops, well, guess what? They ain't the only winged fellas in the game, and we're going to be flying. So let's see this play out. So I'm going to open the door, sail over those assassins. Bye-bye, see you later. We're not going to pull them. We're never going to see them because they're invisible. Anyways, so just kill the Admiral, whatever her name is. I don't know, kill the mob here. Doesn't matter. Don't get blasted. I almost get blasted here. That deals a ton of sanity damage. Not worth getting hit by. We're going to grab the sanity potion. Again, this little area, there's a lot of potion spawns. There's probably like 4 or 5 potion spawns in that little corner. Make sure you grab them. And as you can see, I am not headed towards that pack that I was just talking about. I am now climbing walls. So this is the next skip. We're going to go over this fence. If you have done visions, you know there's like a locked fence at the end of this tunnel. We're going to go over it. I don't want to go to the other side of Old Town. There's just so much trash. It hurts. I feel like it takes forever. The bartender is on that side that I don't think does anything. He used to be guarding like one of the crystals you gave to the other reels. I have no idea if that's even still in game or what it does. Doesn't matter to me. We're going over. So this skip might be, well, it's not Druid only, I suppose. Like Hunters can do it. DH obviously can still do it. Goblins can probably do it. Like Goblin Race, you could probably do this. Anybody else that has sort of this like a gust of wind, I think Shaman's got that back in this expansion. So that could work here. But other than that, you need some sort of mobility of that nature. So let's play it out, see what happens. So you get on this lamppost. I jump backwards just for a little bit more precision, and then I wild charge up here. Be careful if your clones, like the clones that spawn under me, the shadows, be careful if they're about to spawn. They can spawn on this or on top of the arch. Just beware, you don't want to get stunned. It's not a big deal, but, you know, time loss, and I've been going on and on about small increments of time save being mattering, right? So anyways, I get up here. Now, if you have another leap or something that can get you up here, great. And in fact, maybe warriors can just straight up leap up here. I don't know. Path not available might meme you. Who knows? But if you're like me, you need a second way to get up here. You could just wait the 20 seconds. Again, it is that is slower than doing what I'm about to do, but I feel like I've tested it a little bit, not a lot, but I feel like what I'm about to do is way faster than going around the whole of Old Town, particularly with multitudes. I don't know. This multitudes is crazy. Multitudes adds so much trash. I can't imagine this being slower, and I definitely cannot imagine this being slower with once 8 masks is the thing. So this is what I'm doing unless it gets nerfed. I don't know. Anyways, so I get up here and I'm gonna use. You can see it on my right bar over there near the top. The green potion, that is Potion of Gusts. That is a potion from a previous expansion. It has some other uses in keys and such that you may have seen here and there, right? But so I'm gonna Potion of Gusts up here just to get over it. Now here you could diverge what you do. You could just drop down and clear as normal. There's a pack down there with a stealthed mob, right? And just keep going towards Shaw. Not a big deal. I'm not going to do that. I don't want to do that this pack either. So instead, what I'm going to do, you have to be very careful here. If you angle yourself directly towards the pack, Gusts is strong enough to where it will actually send you sailing over the archway, and you'll land in the pack and have to fight them. I don't want to do that, so I angled myself towards this little stone outcropping. They have a name. I don't know where it is. Parapets or something like that. I don't know. I'd never played Stronghold Crusader too much. So I angled myself there just so I get hooked on it, right? You still have a few seconds of slow fall, so be wary. If you go too far, you'll float off. But what I'm actually going to do here, and I'm going to play it out, is I'm going to jump on this awning, and then I'm going to jump towards the alley. And so that skips that pack. It's a little finicky. You need to be careful. If you are under 50% sanity and you have the Dark Imagination mask, that dude might spawn up there and it will keep you in combat, or Valera might do something weird. So this skips a little weird. It's a little bit janky. But for me, it works here, right? You also notice that I'm in combat with something here. So this pack sometimes can pull, you pull the stealth mob. It's a little bit weird, but again, I feel like going through Old Town is going to take far longer than just trying this and just getting good at your positioning, which again, I'm not saying I am, but you know, anyways, let's keep going. So some of the treants on them, I want them for the pack after the elite mob. I don't necessarily need them for the elite mob. Just mulch these guys, give them the dream bursts, get them out of here. Obviously, try not to get disoriented. Yeah, it's gonna happen a few times. Pull the elite mob. Now you want to pop cooldowns. I feel like you want to pop cooldowns on this guy because unlike Shaw, this guy has a sanity drain that you cannot avoid if you let him cast it. So it's not the lurking appendage; it's the thing that comes next. You're gonna see it cast here in a moment. That blight eruption. I barely. Oh no! Excuse me. I do get hit. My apologies. So I do get hit by that. You saw the sanity drain. I'm in a really good spot sanity-wise here, so it's not the worst thing in the world, but you want to try and burst them. I might even have used more cooldowns there had I felt the need, but the only reason that I didn't, like for example, I had a treants. Well, they're not quite up, but I could have waited for treants or whatever. But the reason that I saved them for this pack is, even though that guy hit me with the sanity ability, I felt like I had enough sanity. Obviously, I haven't used a single orb, so I'm sitting very pretty sanity-wise. But even if I hadn't, I might have opted not to use treants anyways, because this pack, right before Shaw, this pack will slap you. This pack is crazy. I don't know why they decided to put so many mobs, so many executioners. There's 2 assassins in here that are stealthed. Those assassins put that nasty haste debuff on you that it is dispellable, because it's a poison, but boy does it slow you down. This pack shreds. I am more scared of this pack than I am of the elite. Now, if you are brave, or if you got strong cooldowns, or like as a tank, I've tried this as guardian. So, this is doable. You can pull the elite into these and just blitz it all down. It is doable. As balanced druid, boy, I felt like I was paper on this pack. I died here multiple times. So no, I separated them. I dealt with the elite solo, and then I deal with these guys, and I actually open with treants, because with treants, look how much simpler this is. They dot everything. I'm just over here blasting. The assassins come out of stealth and run right in. I put down an Ursul's just for control, and then just blast them, and it turns that pack from so much danger into a piece of cake, and I really recommend you do that. So gonna orb here. I'll be honest, I could probably have killed Shaw without the orb, but if you are orbing, at least for first week, if you are orbing at the elite that I just killed, or right before him, or right after him, that is a very good spot to be orbing. That is quite a bit of sanity. Obviously, you'll see, and the later that you can do it, the better. So there's no need to get greedy here, because if you get caught out in, it's easy to get caught out in Shaw. Maybe look at the wrong way while you're trying to escape some of your duplicates while he's warping around. It's easy to get caught out. Don't worry about it. Just if you're here and you have all your orbs, no greed, because at that point you're at a very good pace. No greed, just orb, and you see that I just sit here and I just wait and just get my sanity back. Once I'm comfortable with it, I pull, right? And I'll be honest, this fight doesn't even go all that well. Just the positioning of Shaw just does not end up in my favor because he's on Valyra quite a bit. So as you can see, I'm kind of used to him following me around, and I'm thinking, wait, why isn't he following me around? This is just misplay, right? Like I'm just not doing great. You can hear me say what's happening in the background. It's alright, it happens. Just don't lose your cool. The big deal here is not getting hit by his eyeballs, not getting hit by his mechanics, but it's okay. So finally, I have aggro. I just didn't do enough damage to start with, and finally, I'm getting good angles on Shaw. And the moment you get good angles on Shaw, the moment you're not worried about his eyeballs, he melts. Now at this point, I am in insanely good sanity. So I decided to kill the two guys guarding the cathedral. You can kill these guys at the start. That big pull I did at the start, you can get them in there. But I found that adding their frontal and adding their, they sort of they get the caster shield whenever they're in part of that big pack, because they're like slightly far away, so they end up living a little bit more, which means they get bolstered by the one mask, the Mask of Revenge, I believe, Mask of Vengefulness, something, whatever. One of the new ones that buffs mobs around it when you kill mobs. So they end up being a little bit of a problem, and I felt like if I could leave them for later, I was going to try to. So here I'm in such a good spot with sanity that I decide, okay, well, I did leave them. I'm going to kill them now. And so I pull them now, just get rid of them, stop one of the shadow shifts, just to stop them, right? And then don't get stunned by this idiot. And then I also decide, you know what, I'm here, sanity looks good. I'm in a low drain spot. Let me go and spawn Ilaria as well. You can spawn her early. She'll still gain the buffs and all that stuff. By the way, that sound you heard, that tinging sound, whatever, that is the weak aura telling me, hey, one of your debuffs is going to run out. And you just saw me right there. I actually decided to just click it off myself because I'm safe here, so the debuff is not going to affect me. I also try to shift off the slow, just Druid. I've main Druid for so long. You get a slow, you try to shift. It is what it is. It actually doesn't remove it, so don't bother. You see me staring at it in confusion there for a moment, but it's not a big deal. So I no longer have the heal. It's gonna play a part. You're gonna see me get real scared, but it is what it is, right? So on to Trade District, pulling like a crazy chicken. Get stuck there. That's just me being silly, right? And just pulling all these casters. I'm gonna use some defensives here in a moment. And I'm just blasting. So I bark skin there. Again, I'm just star falling, just pulling like crazy. Those explosions you heard, that's the barrels going off. I burn here, that trinket I was talking about earlier. I burn just for my own safety and because I'm going to need it later. These guys, when they get big and tall like this, boy, are they spooky. I thought I was going to die here. I thought I was going to die there. Ended up working out. This dude spawns, thankfully not in a bad spot. So those guys, whenever they spawn like that, it feels like sometimes they spawn and they can pull trash. So you saw that I skipped that pack on the far left that's next to the entrance that's facing Old Town. You can actually skip those guys. It doesn't require anything fancy. You just play close to the light pole and hope you don't get some silly spawn over there that pulls them. It's happened to me. It happens semi-often, but I feel like if you can't skip them, you should. It's an unnecessary mob, right? So this guy coming up, the Inquisitor, he is weird. Let's put it that way. You want to pull stuff onto this guy just for efficiency's sake. The issue is if he gets a convert cast off on you and you have a lot of trash hitting you, you're dead because that makes you take no healing from anything, not even your self healing. I don't know why this mob has a 100% heal prevention. That's crazy to me. particularly because he spams his agonizing cast, the channel that takes your sanity. But you need to you need to blitz this guy, and B, you need to make sure you keep him as interrupted as possible. Now, for Balanced Druid, that's actually again, I don't know why this ability works this way, but that's actually something else you can do. So obviously you only have one Solar Beam, and you'll see me use it here in a moment, right? But so I'm pulling to him. I pop cooldowns here. I also pop my treants, and you're gonna see me Solar Beam him, right? And then just do damage. Just blitz him as quickly as you can, because you really don't want more of those casts. Here I am, I have a good cycle of cooldowns, and I'm good, and I blitz him. But if he gets more casts off, you don't see it here, but that cast is technically a curse. So if he is channeling that on you, you can get one interrupt with just your basic interrupt. And then the next one, when he starts to channel, you got about a half a second to a second to decurse yourself, and it will stop the channel and not drain your sanity. Very important, right? So, your shamans, your mages, anybody else that has a decurse, really good to know that. So essentially you have a second interrupt here. For Balanced Druid, you probably, if you think you can burst him, you can just go ahead and beam. But particularly for 8 masks, this dude's going to have, an insane amount of health additional, right? So you should probably decurse the first one, then Sunbeam, and then hope that the decurse is back up. Also, if you have your treants out on him, he casts Convert on them instead of you. So important. That interaction alone might allow you to more easily pull stuff on top of him, and it might be much more relevant. So just looking around for potions. I went to grab this red one, but then I realized I don't want it because it's Fire Breath. I just, just a little bit of confusion on my end. It's a horrific vision after all. I'm seeing things. So just pulling more trash. I didn't mean to go as aggressive here. I was a little bit low on health than I realized. This gets really, really sketchy. I am very lucky to be alive here. You see me use some healing on myself there, use a potion, right? I stop some casts, miss the trees on the big guy. So the big guy's just wailing on me, and he's buffed. And this gets so sketchy. I just make mistakes here. I don't kill things as quickly as I should. I'm silenced. I'm sure I'm dead here. And I can't see anything because I'm against the wall. And then what happens? Burn comes off cooldown. Sweet burn. I feel like burn saved me. Like, I know I have a fair amount of health, but I also have that shield on top. And I get it. You can hear me just losing my mind in the background there because I almost died. So burn, if you're struggling as a caster, I mean, it's got int on it. Maybe consider trying to get that. It might help you. I don't know. Purple pot here, it's sanity. Again, very lucky spot to get that. Always be looking to get those sanity potions. The route that I follow exiting Trade District here is just, I want to end up at the entrance that I came in. You could go to the entrance that I'm close to right now if you want. I'm just trying to be efficient with my time here. I don't know if this is more efficient than exiting the other way, but this is what I ended up doing. Don't mind me in the background saying dumb stuff. I'm losing my mind because I know I'm in good pace and I'm trying to keep my cool. So I'm trying to make stupid jokes. It's what I do. Again, try and grab a potion, realize it's Breath of Fire, I don't want it. This idiot spawns. These dudes are a pain in the ass when you're trying to do objectives. Just turn around and kill them. Like, you're tempted to just run away, and then it just makes you take longer. Just F that noise. Just keep going. Alright, so that's Trade District. One thing I will mention here is whenever you're exiting Trade District, make sure you're done with Trade District. I have left a cage unopened here. It's awful. It just try to avoid it. And just so you're aware, in the chat, there's always, you can see it right now, there's always a little blurb that says Trade District completed. If you're exiting, just glance at your chat real quick. It'll help you know if you've done it or not, I don't know. It just seems something to be aware of. Now, we're going to be headed into Mage Tower area, and this is where you're going to see two very weird things happen, right? So the first thing you're going to see is, this is new, added recently with the new Revisited Visions, is I'm going to spawn Hogger. So Hogger is right here, right? He's off this poster that I'm clicking. Hogger spawns when you click this poster. If you don't have, well, technically there's a speech bubble in it that you have to click, but it can only be done if you don't have the Nemesis Shard in your inventory. The Nemesis Shard is one half of another mask. So come next week when the Orgrimmar mask comes out, you'll be able to make a new mask with both of those shards. But I've deleted mine. I don't have mine in my bags because Augur is a very, very easy elite. And I would love 150 sanity. And I'm going to. He doesn't do anything. And you're in a low drainage zone in the canals. So just delete the Nemesis shards from your inventory. Kill Hogger is basically like having a sanity potion here for no reason. That is perfect. Don't mind the trees. They run off to kill or boil. They won't do anything. So here's where it starts to get a little interesting. So you're going to see me walk up to the Mage Tower entrance. You're going to see me click the portal, and you're going to see me walk in and then immediately walk back out. And this is because of the following reason. So I don't know what other people feel about this area, but I feel like the entrance tunnel to the Mage Tower area in Horrific Visions is a pit of despair. That's the trenches in there. You got all these boils, you got the eye stalks, there's tentacles, there's the big void guys that cast at you, there's mind flaying guys that also psychic scream, and not to mention the constant swarming patrols of the little dudes. I felt when I was going into that area that I was losing so much time just dealing with everything. It felt like you were always in combat, which means you always have lead and foot going on, which means you're always dealing with split images in the very constricted area. Visibility is tough. I don't know. I felt very oppressed in that area. I needed another solution to be able to not waste as much time down there. And so I'm actually, I started looking around and I found out that you can just skip all that. You can just literally go over it. And that's what I'm going to do here. Now, the reason that I do the dip in and dip out is because I found that the area sometimes does not run properly if you don't do that. So the first couple of times that I tried the skip that you're about to see, the area actually did not update properly, so I actually was not able to engage Umbric at the end. The portal just wasn't working. I assume it's attributed to the fact that I'm approaching the area weirdly, and opening the gate and walking in seemed to solve that issue. Now, it's not consistent, and I've seen other people do this and not open the gate and not have an issue. So I don't really know what the problem is, but I did it for safety, and as you can see, it worked out. So I'm going to let it play and keep going on the skip here. I get on this box over here, and I use another one of those Potion of Gusts. This is personal preference. You don't have to use the Gust here. I'm just more comfortable with my Wild Charge than I am with the Gust for the next maneuver, right? So Potion of Gust up on this roof, and from here on out, I'm going to Wild Charge up here. Now, this looks way sketchy. It's not. It's, this looks like I'm about to fall off. You're not. There is ground all over this roof here. You don't need to worry about it. The big thing there is if you're going to try this, the big thing there is to aim at the gap. You're not aiming at the roof. You're aiming at the gap in between these two roofs. And ideally jump before you Wild Charge, or jump before you do whatever. Again, I don't know who else could do this. Probably Gust of Wind Shaman, if that's even still a thing. Goblins can do it. Hunters, I believe, can do it. And you can flip these as well. You can probably Wild Charge into Potion of Gusts into this corner. I don't believe it matters. I just did this way for preference, right? But your goal here is, so you've gotten up here. Now, at this point, you're already in the zone, so you already have the sanity drain, the increased sanity drain, so you want to get moving. But the whole point of this here, as I keep playing, is to get on top of this roof, to get on top of this tower. Sometimes you might get a mechanic spawn. Deal with it here, so you don't have to deal with it on your way down, right? And so from here, you can just jump down, and the very first portal guy is right in front of you. This is so much more convenient than dealing with the pit of despair that is just under you if you enter through the normal way. But you cannot just jump up here. If you just jump up here after leaving one of the other areas and you do not open the door and do that little, dip in and dip out that I did, this area does not proceed properly. Part of me still thinks that it might not proceed properly anyways. I feel like there's too many little ads. You'll see it here in a little bit, to where maybe they keep spawning or something along those lines. I'm not sure, but yeah. So this kind of makes the area start going, but it lets you skip all that just terrible trash before getting up to the middle area of the mage tower. So yeah, so playing again, I get rid of this guy. Sanity is looking a little ragged, but still playing, right? Get rid of that guy, jump down. You're not gonna die here, so don't worry about that. And then this is the first portal guy. So we engage him. Normally I kite these guys into the middle courtyard, but here I actually decided to just get rid of them. I'm glad I did, because I end up needing sanity. So look at all these little guys. Look at all these little dudes just running all over the freaking place. It feels like there's a lot more of them. I assume that's because of the skip that I've done, right? So I spawn my second orb here. Ideally, you have a little bit more sanity, or a little bit more courage to walk out into the courtyard and orb there. That's better than what I end up doing, I think, and then just pull into the orb. But I choose to play it very safe because I know I'm in a good time here. Gain quite a bit of my sanity, and also just steal my nerves. I'm so nervous at this point in this vision. You can imagine, right? I think you can actually hear me breathing there. So okay, full sanity, walk out, start blasting. Pick up the elite, get him in here. Try not to get tagged by stuff. This elite is nasty. If you get one bad split personality stun into that breath right there, you get toasted. I get tagged there with some random, with one of the random bolts. It's not the end of the world, but ideally you don't, right? Particularly when 8 masks, that's probably not a thing you can do. And so here, once again, look at all these little guys. There's just so many of them. I want to be near that doorway where the dude just came out of, but there's so many. Look, they just keep coming. Like, I think that's a result of the skip that I've taken. You can hear me complaining, as a good gamer does, right? So I just get rid of them just to drop combat, because I want to pull these guys from distance. Now, ideally, you don't get Mind Flayed. I do here, unfortunately. Womp womp. And then you don't get blocked off here as well. Again, womp womp. You just want to try to avoid that. But try and LOS those Mind Flays as much as possible. Try and LOS the Psychic Screams as much as possible. This Void Buffer, this ability sucks. It's so bad if you get one of these or more. Particularly if you get one of these and then start getting Mind Flayed. You might actually just outright die. I get 2 of these, and I didn't mean to, and my well-honed instincts procs to heal me. I don't want that to be procced, obviously. I wanted that heal elsewhere. I'm not dependent on it, but it's another defensive barrier that is now gone because I got these 2 stupid Void Buffers that are just slapping me. So go stealth here because there's just so many little dudes walking around still. I don't want to be in combat because I don't want Leadfoot to be proccing too much, except just kidding. I got popped out by Dark Imagination. It happens. You just try and deal with it. I noticed that I got in combat. I didn't actually even notice it was the Dark Imagination mob. But it is what it is, right? So you get in here, you pull the elite up here. This guy always, so the first sequence, he will always do 2 Shadow Bolts. They don't deal too much damage, and they don't ping your sanity, chiefly. That's very important. They don't deal too much damage, they don't deal sanity damage. So 2 Shadow Bolts that aren't too damaging, unless you have void buffers, be careful, or Void Buffets, be careful with that. And then he will do his Rain of Fire. So that means even if you're melee, for example, you can bait it. So if you let's say you're a warrior and you charge at him, and you wait for those 2 Shadow Bolts and then back up and drop Rain of Fire elsewhere, you will be fine. Now after that, usually he will do Twisted Summons, like pretty consistently. Every so often, I'll see him do a Shadow Bolt. That might be pertinent to if you interrupted him first or whatnot, but from here on out is almost always 2 Shadow Bolts and 1 Twisted Summons into the next Rain of Fire. So that's kind of his cast sequence. Just keep an eye out for that because, again, you want to keep baiting those Rain of Fires away from him. Ideally, as much as possible. Obviously, if you're ranged, it matters less. But, more space to maneuver is never a bad thing, particularly with Leadfoot, with the Leadfoot madness in this area. It's just a pain in the butt. So, yeah, it helps to deal with. So, just finish killing this guy off. Right, there go the Yaz. The Yaz don't deal too much damage, but their circles do drain sanity when they die. So they leave that circle, and now look at that. You can barely see that circle is clipped into the ground. That graphic is awful. It's one of those old school swirlies that they really need to change. So just get away from them. When you kill them, just give them so much room, and be very wary because this is a bad overlap where you're running away from those and trying to bait a Rain of Fire, and your split personality spawn. You run into one head first, which means you get, disoriented, which means you're standing in a circle or you're standing in a ring of fire and you get pinged, and it's over, right? So that sucks. And it almost happens right here, right? Well, I say almost, but you know what I'm saying. So, finish killing this guy off. Sanity looking pretty fantastic here. Finish the ads off. Run into a disoriented personality. Ha ha ha. I'm looking around. There's a high instance rate of sanity potions in this area, and sure enough, there's one. Just always look around this area. There's like 5 or 6 potion spawns. So I go into stealth here because there's again so many of these little guys wandering around this area. Stop. Don't get split personality.
Perfect.
Yeah, my apologies if you can hear my past self talking to myself in the background. Again, at this point, I'm very excited because I know I'm close. This dude will almost always spawn in your way up this ramp, as will these split personalities. You know, when you're low on sanity, I don't know, it just feels like you're at this point in terms of sanity almost always, so just expect that. Just get rid of him, kill him as soon as possible, and get up this ramp. And so this is going to be my last orb right before Umbric here, and this is, again, I feel like you need that orb sequence to be able to make this. You need the orb at the first orb. You need it either right before the elite, before Shaw, or right after, and then you need your second orb somewhere in this zone, because that's how long this zone takes. It feels like you need it in the Mage Tower zone, and then you need a second orb in the Mage Tower zone to be able to make it. So very, very tough to make that sequence of events. You kind of do, I feel like you do need to get lucky with sanity potions, and I did in this run. I had them at good positions, and I had them when I needed them. Just par for the course. Next couple of weeks, this gets a lot easier. Our sanity protection is going to go up drastically, so I can't imagine you'll need as much stuff for future runs. But for this, if you're aiming for a first week, oh boy, yeah, you're going to need some luck on your side. So, anyways, going back to it, spawning the orb, and I waited out. I want my full sanity bar. This is my last orb. I want to be fully juiced. So, Umbric here can be a little bit tricky. I pop cooldowns. I don't pop trees here. I let this cast because I'm standing in hold, so whatever. You don't have to interrupt that one necessarily, right? But trees here, so if you're not aware, this goes for other pet classes. And when he does his frozen teleport, and he does that thing where he has you running around, if you have treants or any other pet, and they get up to him, they knock him out of the phase. Now that is both good and bad. It's good because he's not doing, you can't attack him when he's teleported off like that, and he's just over there spamming the ground bolts that take sanity away from you. But if you leave him in there, you're relatively safe, which means if you don't have an interrupt, or your interrupt is coming off cooldown for the next entropic missiles, then you might want to wait a little bit. The flip side to that is the more you wait, the more time you spend in one of the highest sanity drain zones. So you really need to sort of have a feel of, do you have pets? Where's your interrupt? How are your cooldowns? You can also do a little bit of LOSing here. It's a little tough to do. I don't know what to do about the Tainted Polymorph if you're not a Druid. I am a Druid. I literally just laugh at him while he's doing his Tainted Polymorph and just let it cast. I don't care, right? I get disoriented. Whoops. Whatever. So he teleports again. This is the one where, unfortunately, you have to get in there and tough it out. Thankfully, again, I'm a Druid, so I can shift out of the slow, give him the Solar Beam to interrupt the entropic missile. No sanity drain here, sir. So he tops it off. I run into another clone because at this point I am ecstatic. I know this is doable from this position, and I can't believe that I'm this close, right? So we're chilling. Immediately take the portal back, and Ilaria's already spawned, so not a big deal here. You're in a low drain zone at this point. From here on out, it's just DPS and execution. If you don't let your sanity bar drain and don't get hit by dumb things, you can beat this. At this point, this is a very chill ending. The hard points are done here. Umbric is a hard point. The Mage Tower area, all of itself, the whole thing is a hard point. But some of the Old Town pulls, some of the Trade District pulls, that big gather in Dwarven, those are your pain points. This right here, it's not, it's not a cakewalk, but it's nowhere near as bad as the rest of this is. So get in there and pop your cooldowns, pop drums, pop trees, pop champagne, because you got your achievement. You know what I'm saying? Try and stand in the circle that gives you damage as much as possible. Probably interact key would be useful for those things. I didn't have it bound because I keep forgetting. It's not a big deal. Don't get yourself chained. I stand in the circle here just to buff my dot damage. I don't even think it's like that big a deal, right? But and then say she's doing the thing where you hide, just cast on her as much as you can while you're able to, right? Treants, Star Blast, and honestly, Tate Polymorph again. I don't know what you do about that. I'm a Druid. Maybe just interrupt it, right, for her, because she doesn't have any other casts, but... And then, yeah. There it is. 5 mask run. You're gonna hear me lose my mind here. It's spamming guild chat. You probably can't see that. Yep, there's the hype. It's still going. Anyways, so actually, I'll let this play out a little bit. Yes, I know I'm yelling. Past me is yelling. Past me is very excited. So is somebody in my guild chat. Thank you, Mr. Eggplant. You know who you are. Love you, buddy. Anyways, so I'll let this play out a little bit, just because I think I opened my character sheet here, just to show you.
5 mask first week, baby. That's how we do it. Under geared.
All right, so there's my character. Unfortunately, I don't have one of those add-ons or weak auras that shows stuff, but I mean, you can see my item level. You can see I got like the Jasters. It's heroic. I don't mythic grade, so I don't have a mythic Jasters. I have the Cersei Signet. I have the Barrel Trinket and the Burn. Barrel Trinket, like I mentioned, is the Myth Track. It's from High Keys. Or from the vault after doing high keys. The burn is not. The burn is just a heroic, like a drop from one of the keys. My main hand and offhand, so I have like Ascension on, and I have the doubling effect, I think, on my belt. All my crafted gear is upgraded to 681, or whatever it's meant to be. Right now, you know, the maximum after the turbo boost. A lot of my gear has been upgraded with rune crests, that type of thing. But really, what I'm trying to say is there isn't anything crazy special. Like, I'm not crazy. There's some crazy geared people out there on 680, 683, whatever. I'm not up there. I'm well geared, but not up there. The really big specifics that I made to try and help myself survive was get the burn for those moments where I felt like I needed the shield. It happened to roll leech as well. That was very lucky. I also enchanted leech. I feel like you need that little bit of self-healing on some of these. Some of these big pulls, I feel like that helped. Leech ended up healing up quite a bit for myself. Unfortunately, I don't look at my recount after this to have footage of that, but just trust me on that. And then my Cersei Signet actually has 1 healing gem on it. It's the one on the far right. I don't quite remember what it's called. If I remember to, I'll put it on here on screen. I don't think you need it, but again, it was just that little bit of something to help me get through some pulls, and that being a fair amount of healing. But other than that, really, the gear is nothing special. My enchants were nothing special. I didn't do anything weird. I just enchanted for leech, if you count that as being weird. I don't know. In terms of consumables, again, nothing fancy for the normal consumables. You know, I had like a normal stat food, a normal flask. You can see it up there, top right. And a normal Algari mana oil for my weapon. The only things that were out of the norm were those Potion of Gusts to do those 2 skips, which again, you don't need. It just speeds you up if you don't have to wait for your burst mobility, your wild charge to get off cooldown, right? So you can do it like that, but you don't need them. It's just to use them, right? And who knows if that's even going to be a thing after I post this, if anybody notices and gets it nerfed. Who knows, right? But yeah, nothing weird aside from that for consumables. Nothing weird other than the Cersei's gem and the burn for gear. No other buffs other than my own and the stuff in the vision itself. So I did have all the tributes maxed out. So like Elite Extermination and Visions and all that stuff. I did have that maxed out. And so, yeah, there it is. Week 1 Balanced Druid, Horrific Visions Revisited, 5 mask. Pretty tough. It's going to get a lot easier in the next coming weeks. So if you are not insane, I would recommend waiting. This took a long time. This took a lot of trial, a lot of error, a lot of figuring stuff out and coming up with routes and trying stuff. I will mention, just as an aside, honorary mention, I tried this quite a bit as Guardian Druid, and it also feels really doable. I got very, very close as Guardian Druid. I got Alaria down to like 50% before I ran out of sanity. That's what killed me there, and that was with mistakes. So it's probably doable as Guardian Druid as well, but my Guardian Druid gear is just a little bit worse than my Balance Druid gear, and it's, I'm very mastery heavy, obviously, because Balance main, which is not superb for Guardian Druid. I would pick different secondaries for damage, because I feel like your survivability is fine, even if you pull like a Maniac. But if you're a Guardian Druid and you happen to be listening to this and you have good gear, give it a try. I feel like it's doable. Pretty much same exact route. Maybe I'll do a video of that if anybody cares to watch it. I don't know. If anybody cares to watch this long-ass video. But anyways, this has gone on long enough. Thank you for watching. Boy, that was difficult. Hopefully you enjoy it. I'll catch you later.